One of the struggles of being an entrepreneur is there's like 1,000 things we could be doing. And so we're doing them all, right? We're trying everything. And in the process of trying everything, we're always like, man, my stuff looks like crap, right? It doesn't look like the stuff other people are doing, big companies or even other entrepreneurs sometimes, the people, the role models we're chasing after, the people that have what we want. We're trying to do what they do. And we just feel like our stuff looks like crap. And I can sympathize with that. And the truth is that it's probably less important than you think. Ultimately, what matters in promoting yourself as an entrepreneur is a good offer, or a better way to say it would be the right offer to the right person at the right time. Here we go. So again, my name is Tom Perrone. I own a little consulting company called Stronghold Training based here in Tampa, Florida. We do a bunch of stuff. But one of the things we do a lot of is marketing consulting. I'm not a marketing ad firm. I don't do marketing I've done it, but I don't do marketing for my clients, but I do coach them on it, primarily through my private client group. Today, what we're talking about is sending automated emails that make money now. Exactly what to do and how to do it. Don't want to talk about it much. Want to get into like the nitty gritty, like say this here, like this many words in this way, which immediately is going to bring questions as to, will I get the slides? Because I don't write as fast as you talk. Sure. You will get a replay anyway of this. I might just give you my notes in a Word doc. Might be easier. Like I said, I literally finished this 5 minutes ago, just copying and pasting frantically into a slideshow because I didn't want to read off of a Word document to you. So we're going to just kind of cruise through this. And quick housekeeping for those of you just joining and you're not used to Zoom webinars. You've got a chat feature. And in that chat feature, you have two options. It defaults to chatting to me. I can never see the chat feature when I have my PowerPoint up. It's a weird thing. There we go. There it is. So I've already put some stuff in the chat. So you can go there. Make sure you select to all panelists and attendees when you're in the chat so everyone can see what you're saying. And then you've also got a option to ask me questions. I don't really monitor the chat, and I don't have anyone helping me today. So anything you say in the chat, you can make fun of me all you want there, and I'll probably not see it till later and cry about it then. So please don't make fun of me. It's Friday. But if you have a question to me directly, in order for me to see that, you're going to need to put that in the Q&A. Please only put questions in the Q&A. Put your comments in the chat so that I can go through it quickly while I'm helping you guys out. All right. With that, let's go right in. My first question is actually for you. So get ready to jump into the chat, choose all panelists and attendees, and please answer this question just to help me know what pace I should be at today. The faster I get through this, the more opportunity we're going to have for questions at the end. But I don't want to go so fast that it just goes over your head. So I need you guys to answer this question. Those of you who are here paying attention, are you sending emails now? And if so, how frequently and what kind? All right. So let's start with just a real quick, I'm watching the clock already, time is flying by. Start with a real quick kind of primer here as to what we're talking about, okay? So you guys already know this, but let's get really real about this. And all my research in email marketing, I get sick of the optimism from email marketers. They're like, if you just do this, you're going to make all this money. Tom, didn't you just say that to get us here? Yeah, but I'm going to get really real with you too. Okay, so let's get real right up front. Most people don't open their mail period, right? I went to the mailbox before I came in here and just threw it all out. Like there was one check. I got that. It's right here. It's cashed already. Most people don't open their mail. Don't even open it, right? Number two, why? Well, people look at mail, email, or snail mail as it's almost the same as social scroll bait. What do I mean by that? Well, we're in the habit of just scrolling social news feeds, scroll, 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 scroll. And we've learned that in doing that, we haven't missed anything important. And we do the same with email, scroll, scroll, scroll. We do the same with snail mail, junk, 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 scroll. That's what we do. So most people don't open it. All right. Why? Well, it's assumed by people. We assume, you and I assume that that email is unhelpful or an inconsequential waste of time. Assumed. We're approaching mail, not going, ooh, I got mail. Gather the family around and let's read it together. We got an email. No, we assume it's unhelpful. I mean, I remember the lonely days of AOL when I would be sitting on my mother's couch and all of a sudden I'd hear that, you've got mail. And I would jump up because somebody sent me a letter, right? Those days are gone. Those days are gone. Now when I hear a ding, I assume junk. Assume junk. And also ADHD wins over good intentions. There's actually people out there that claim that the internet causes ADHD. What do I mean? What I mean is that people might intend to open your mail, your email, and then 30 minutes later, they're off doing something else. So good intentions die. Let's get real. Number 2 point on let's get real. Most people who do open your mail don't take any action. So they open it. Why? Well, they don't click on the link or whatever you have inside the email because they think that's a commitment. I'm making a commitment if I do this. They know that people track this stuff. And like if I open the mail and I do something that all of a sudden I'm going to get 1,000 phone calls or be put on a bunch of lists, and just doing it is a commitment. If I click to read or click to watch a video, it's a commitment of time and focus. And I didn't even intend to open this thing anyway. And the last thing I'm going to do is commit to time and focus, because the one thing I don't have is the ability to manage time and focus. If you went up to almost any American and you said, what are your biggest problems? They'll tell you, I can't get focused. I don't have enough time. I'm overwhelmed. So to click and commit to that, even though they are doing it, that is a reluctance. And the reason why they don't take action is because what I said back in rule number 1. Even though they've now opened it, it's social scroll bait. They just scroll it, assume it's unhelpful, and they have ADHD. Dismal. Let's get real. Point number 3. Those who click, who actually open, read or scroll, and then click, they rarely convert from a landing page. So typically open an email, there's something in there, you click it, it sends them to some sort of website or something, trying to sell them something or do something, inform them about something. And rarely does anything happen from that point. Why? Well, distractions. I mean, what's happened at this point? We took the time to read your subject line, to open your mail, to consider your mail, and to click. That probably took 15 to 30 seconds. In that time, I'm going to get interrupted by an email, a social media notification. Something's going to happen. So distractions are always there. That time I've given is like sand in an hourglass going rapidly in our ADHD mind. It took energy to do that. And if I didn't find something that gratified that time I put into it, I'm likely to immediately bounce away because there's something better to do. But we have to be really real about this. This is your audience. This is my audience. And it's probably you and it's probably me more than we realize or would like to admit. That's the state of email today. It's the state of all marketing today. All right. But this is good news. It's good news. Why? Well, it's good news, first of all, because you know it. Like if you can admit this to your innermost self, it's really good news because we're going to use it. So everybody actually knows this. This is good news because everybody actually knows this, but they just keep sending mail thinking somehow it's going to be different. Well, why is that good news? Because all the people you're competing against in that sea of voices, they are obviously bad voices, right? Like if you have a really good letter in the sea of junk mail, you stand out from the crowd. All right. So the fact that that's going on and people are spamming away, it's actually good news. It doesn't hurt us at all. You can, and the other thing that's good about this is you can actually send more emails than you think you can because they matter less than you think. We're so worried we're going to send a piece of junk mail someone's going to throw out. You're like, is he talking about email or regular mail? Both. But we're talking about email, right? If we think that we can't send this email. We spend all day crafting this email, and we send it out so nervous, reading it over and over and over again, making sure it flows. We're so nervous that number one, people are going to be offended, and then number two, they're not going to understand it or not take action, and God forbid we email them more than once a month, right? Guys, they're getting junk all the time. Your mail actually matters less than you think. Can you offend people? We're going to talk about that. Sure. Can you bother people? Yep. You get spam complaints? Sure. But it actually does matter less than you think. Your emailing matters less than you think. And there's a couple of like hypersensitive email recipients out there. I've encountered them over the years that will put you on blast, and they're a voice one in a 10,000 people are those people that they're like that one person in your neighborhood when someone knocks on their door, they call the police and the HOA, and they, there's just people like that out there. All right. Don't let that 1 in 1,000, 10,000 voices keep you from trying to grow your business. All right. That's how the terrorists win. If you learn how to send emails, this is also good news, because if you learn how to send emails the right way, then you can actually leverage these issues, the ADHD, scroll craziness of our world, instead of fighting them. What we tend to do is we get real gimmicky to try to overcome it. We say things like, stop, listen, read this now. And sometimes that stuff works, but honestly, stop fighting the issue and leverage it. Leverage it, okay? Read it as if you have those issues. Stop spending 5 hours crafting emails and reading it through line by line and making sure everything's right. Read it like you're one of those people that you are. Like, just scroll it and see if it works, okay? So now what's the solution to this? We're going to get into the nitty gritty here. The solution may actually shock you. The solution is to send way more emails. Way more emails. Yep, that's right. But we're not going to send promo plus deadline plus discount emails up front. We are going to send those, but not up front, meaning your emails aren't going to be buy this now, it goes away in 24 hours. And you may be saying, Tom, I've gotten those emails from you. Yeah, I've done a lot of testing on this. And what I'm telling you is built upon my failures and my successes and the failures and successes of those who mentor me. Don't send those emails up front. Do you send them? Yes. It isn't your first email. So do not leave this webinar and go and build an email. We are going to send 5 emails over the weekend trying to sell something. Will you sell something? You know what? Some of you might actually sell a lot more doing it, even though I'm telling you not to do that because you're not sending any emails right now. But I'm telling you, that's not what I taught you to do. Okay. So if you do that, don't say I watched a webinar. They said send way more emails. And so I sent a bunch of sales emails and made sales. Tom's great. No. Because some people will do that and come back and say, yeah, Tom, I lost half my list. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. We're going to send more emails, but not promo, deadline, discount emails up front. What we're going to do instead is we're going to send candy. We're going to send candy to your list. And then we're only going to send those promo emails to the people who click on the candy. If they unwrap the candy, they get the promo. Okay. So real simple strategy, more emails, hold back the offers with the deadlines and discounts and all that type of stuff. Instead, we're going to send them candy. If they unwrap the candy, they get the offers. No, that's simple enough. But there's a little bit of a trick to how I'm going to show you to do this. We got to get into the details. Doing good on time. Here's the details. Step by step, exactly what I want you guys to do. I mean, I would go back and I would sit down and do this step by step exactly as I show you. And in all fairness, what I'm teaching you is not entirely original to me. All right. It is an augmentation of what was originally Frank Kern's 4-day cash machine. He's like the guru of internet marketing. I learned Frank Kern's 4-day cash machine a few years ago. And what I have done over the years of taken that and a whole bunch of other people in email marketing who have done this as well as myself and drilled this down and kind of made it a little bit more, what I think is a little bit better for entrepreneurs. I'm not saying I know better than Frank. I'm just, what I've done as I've tested this is I've changed it. And just my opinion is, you can go read what Frank has on it. It's public, it's out there. But what I've done is called a 3-day cash machine. And I don't call it a 3-day cash machine. I just call it a 3-day candy sequence. And the 3-day candy sequence is very, very similar to the strategies put in the 4-day cash machine. It's not a ripoff and duplicate of it exactly, but it is very similar to it because it works. And so just want to make sure I'm clear and giving Frank credit, since he taught me how to do this. I don't want to act like this is entirely mine. So details. Number 1, create candy content. Candy content. I'm going to tell you what that looks like in a minute. I'm going to give you exact examples of what that looks like. Candy content that, here's the catch. This is if of all the steps I'm going to teach you, this is the hardest. All the steps I'm going to teach you, this is the hardest. This is where you got to put your thinking cap on and slow down and digest this a little bit, even if you don't send an email today, because you got to get this right. The content must teach people how to get what they want. And it has to be the same thing that your product or service does. All right. I'm going to jump ahead of myself here, but I got to give you an example right from my own life. Okay. So I have a private client group. This is a group of entrepreneurs that come in throughout the week, and we coach on how to grow their businesses and sell more stuff and use digital marketing. And like this week, we were all talking about emails. We were doing this stuff this week. That's what I help people with. And I think we do a good job of that. What am I doing right now for free? I'm teaching you how to do it without my private client group. See that? Like, I'm telling you, you don't want to be a member of my private client group and give me money to help you with this more? You don't have to. Here's what to do. We're spending an hour and I'm telling you what to do without my private client group. I'm giving away the candy. You see that? Here's the candy. Why? Well, this is the exact same thing I do. So if this is helpful to you and you want more of this, guess where you're going to go? The private client group, right? That's the idea here. And it doesn't bother you that I'm talking about my private client group and how this does this more. Why? Because you're actually interested in getting this done. I'm not forcing the private client group down your throat at all. But I'm telling you, you who wants this candy, here it is. You don't even need me. But if you want more candy like this, this is where to go. This is what you have to wrap your brain around. What we often do is we send out these content emails to people that are so full of good stuff, but they're not really pertinent to what you do. It's just noise and more content. And you could spend a lot of time laboring on what this should or shouldn't look like. All I want you guys to do, if you go to the beach this weekend, go sit on your back porch for an hour, get a legal pad and sit down and just ask yourself this question. What do my clients want? And how can I give them that without them working with me? What? That's right. Without them working with you. How could you give people who would work with you what you do without working with you? And a small piece of candy. We're not giving it all of them. We're not giving away all of our service for free. We're going to give them candy, bite-sized candy that would actually be helpful and not just tease them, but would actually be sweet. And then if they want more of that, what are they going to do? They're going to come right to you because it's the same thing you do. That is the hardest part for people to get. That's the hardest part. That's the part that takes a lot of practice. That's the art. The rest is science. Number two, the details. If they click, so you send them the candy, right? Let's say it's an email. It's an email with a video or some download or some click to get this blog or whatever, click to get this thing, whatever the candy is. If they unwrap the candy, then they have indicated they want help with that particular thing, thereby qualifying them as your most likely to convert prospect. When I sent the email out for Freebie Friday this week on email marketing, I had a very high open rate. What's that tell me? They were interested in what that subject line said. I had a very high click-through rate. What's that tell me? Those people who clicked on that were really, truly interested in getting help on this. Now, here I am helping you, actually giving you the candy. What's happening right now? I'm building bond with you, showing you I can do this. And what's that mean? Well, it means that you're likely to be someone who would, if you could, and if you found it helpful, join me in doing this more and even perhaps put money behind that, right? Either way, my concern is helping you right now. That's my job. And that's how this works. That's the strategy behind this. And if we're doing that, and this is the hardest piece for many people to swallow, if we're doing that, then we actually want to send as much candy to those people as you can, as long as it's sweet. right? As long as it's sweet. What do I mean? What I mean is if I sent you 10 emails on how to be an effective email marketer, that would be fine. As long as you could actually digest it, it was actually helpful. It didn't overwhelm you, but it was just really, really good. As a matter of fact, a lot of people won't read the candy, guys. They won't watch the videos you send. They'll sign up for the webinars. They won't show up. A lot of people just go, man, what they're indicating is that's what I need. And they're so glad you're sending it. And they intend to come back and watch it again, but they don't. They just keep clicking saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. And eventually you send them a program that says, this will do it. I'll take your hand. And they buy. Even though they never went to your webinar, even though they never watched your videos, they buy. And that's why only the people that click get the offers. All right. Hopefully you're tracking here. If not, go back and watch this again. You've got to wrap your mind around this slide. This is the hardest part for people to understand strategically. We think we do, and then I see the result and I'm like, they didn't get it. Each email, guys, is super short and simple, and it's ADHD proof. All right. There's two sequences to making this happen. We are actually going to get into exactly what to do and how to say it now. If you can understand this slide, then you'll understand the next couple of slides where I want to tell you exactly what to do. Just to make sure you're tracking here. All right, I'm going to jump into the chat. If you have any questions for me, you can get them in now because I'm about to get into exactly what to say. And I know you're eager for that, but I'm making good time right now. So if you have a question, throw it in the chat. This would be a good place for me to pause and let you do that. I have a question for you. What is something? Maybe answer it this way. What is the greatest help? I'm going to actually coach some of you guys on this. I want to make sure you really get this. Okay. If you took the time to be here, I want to make sure you walk away getting this. What is the greatest benefit or the greatest service, the greatest problem you solve? Don't be vague here. Be very specific. What is the greatest service you give your clients? Don't say like I give my clients peace of mind. I can't email peace of mind. Okay. What is it you do? Like I help people write ads that make them money. You see what I'm saying? I help people write emails that turn profit. I help people have a predictable success plan that means they don't have to be constantly cold calling anymore. What is it that you do for your clients? So Alexandra said, figure out exactly what they actually want. So just in life in general, be very, very specific for me, Alexandra. What is it? How do you do that? Like, what is your specific service? I help people buy real estate. There we go. Now, what is it unique, Corrine, if I'm pronouncing your name right? What is unique about how you do that? You help people buy real estate. Alexandra said, I figure out what they want. Let's get into the nitty gritty here. Like I said, this is hard. This is hard, guys, but I want to push you to walk away with it. Corrine, when you help people buy real estate, how do you help them best? What's like a secret to your process? This type of berating questions that I do, it reminds me of, remember that movie, Office Space? What is it you do here? I talk to the engineers so the customers don't have to. Or I talk to the customers so the engineers don't have to. I help people. It's like, it's so hard as entrepreneurs, isn't it? To be able to really explain our value. We are so up here when it comes to explaining our value. It is so hard. And you know what? It's hard for me too. It's hard for me to, it's easy for me to explain your business. It's hard for me to explain mine. It is one of the challenges in marketing is it's hard for us as entrepreneurs because we're in it every day. It's hard for us to market our own businesses. It's a real challenge. So we take something like Alexandra saying here. She listens and asks questions. Okay. Now I'm the one who's about to get that candy, right? Am I going to open candy that says, I'm listening, I'm asking questions, or are you going to send them the list of questions you ask. You see the difference here? So I want you to say, I have a list of questions that help people to do X. I have a list of questions that help people to find out this without that headache, right? I have a list of 10 questions, a questionnaire. I have a questionnaire. We're going to turn yours into a questionnaire. I have a questionnaire that if they would just answer these questions, they would get this thing they want without this headache they want to avoid. That's how I would market yours. Corrine says, still looking for the secret of what I do best. You know what? The hardest thing to find is to look in the mirror and see that in ourselves. We need to ask our customers. You need to ask your customers what it is. I find foreclosures and properties that are good deals. I need to find buyers for them. All right, perfect. So what you do, right, is you have foreclosures and properties that turn profits fast, right? And you know how to do that. So literally what you need to tell people is how to do that. I need you to tell people, give away your secrets. And that's what's shocking as people go, no. I can't do that. But that's exactly what you need to do, because that's the candy. So when I get Corrine's email and it says, here are the 3 things you need to do in order to find foreclosures. Here are the 3 things about foreclosures you need to understand, that you need to see in order to know if they're profitable. And because I'm interested in buying foreclosures, I read that and I go, man, Corrine really helped me. She knows her stuff. That's definitely what I want to do. And I go try doing it on my own, but I can't do it as good as Corrine because I'm just watching a how-to YouTube video. I'm not as good as Corrine. Who do you think I'm going to call when I'm ready to move forward? Corrine. See, that's how this works, guys. Hopefully you're understanding this. Hopefully you understand that. Same with Alexandra, right? I did her questionnaire. It really helped me solve my problem. Now I do have a better idea of what I want, but now I'm encountering new challenges. Who am I going to go back to? Alexandra. Okay, hopefully you're understanding this. Thank you guys for playing along. Thank you for that was intense coaching. Thanks for playing along. All right, let's keep moving here. That's how the strategy works. So that's the hardest part. It is the hardest thing for us entrepreneurs to do, is that. And again, I know I'm kind of soft selling it here, but this is why I have the private client group, because this is what we're doing in the private client group is I'm taking hot seats and helping people figure that out. And so are other members in the group, because the hardest person to help is ourselves as entrepreneurs. We just know how to serve. Just get people in front of us and we'll prove ourselves. Our email candy is literally that help wrapped up for free, given away, and they'll come back to us. And this is how it works. Email sequence number 1. There are 2 sequences of emails that we are going to send. The first email sequence is either 1 to 2 candy emails a day for 3 days. Now remember, what I'm teaching you guys here is how to make money in a short period of time. That was the title of this. I personally do not typically send an email every day for 3 days, depending on where my leads come from. If these are brand new leads, this works really well. So I personally send 1 candy email a week. You really don't want to go less than that, meaning you don't want to send an email every other week. What happens after a while is people stop engaging. They just think you're spam. They're like, here's just another random email. It's not really going to have the power that this has. Now, this is intense. This is like a lot of emails fast. It's a real machine gun of emails. It's going to scare you guys. And I know that. It's very, very, very effective at closing business. I'm going to show you why. Remember the rules at the beginning, the mindset of those we're emailing. But if you've got a bunch of people, if you're running lead ads or you're going networking and you're meeting people or you're just getting lists from wherever, you've got a list. This is the way to really harvest that list. 1 to 2 candy emails a day for 3 days. Okay. And I don't care if you have a list that's been sitting there forever and you haven't been emailing them. This is going to shuffle out and get them engaged again. Some of that's going to scare some of you guys. Again, what I'm giving you is how to make money in 3 days. So if you were to like say, oh, how do I do this with a softer approach over a longer period of time? 2 emails a week. Worst case scenario, 1 email a week. Not less than that ever. Okay. This strategy is a very specific strategy. The 3-day 3-day candy sequence is 1 to 2. It built again, kind of off of Frank Kern's 4-day cash machine. send 1 to 2 candy emails a day for 3 days. I'm going to show you exactly how to write the candy email. Don't worry. At the end of the candy, right? Whether that's a article they clicked to go read, whether that's a thing they downloaded like a list or a tool, or whether that's a video they watched. Okay, I'm a big fan of the video personally, but whether that's a video they watch, at the end of that, you make a soft offer. So it would be like this, right? At the end of this webinar, I say, hey guys, if you want to join my private client group, you should check it out. Here's the link, soft offer. You know, if you want more of this type of stuff, private client groups where it's at. It's a soft offer, okay? That's sequence number 1. That's it. So for like 3 days, so like if you sent this today, so tonight they'd get an email, Saturday they'd get an email, Sunday they'd get an email, or tonight they'd get an email, tomorrow they get 2 emails, Sunday they'd get 2 emails. And all they is trying to get them to take the candy. It's not different pieces of candy. It's one piece of candy. So let's say I'm sending out an email and it's, I'll go with what you guys were saying before. It's, here's exactly how to find a foreclosure and turn it into profit. This 10-minute video will tell you the keys you need to do that. And that's the email, right? Email number 1 on Friday night sends that out to them. Okay, I'm going to show you exactly what to write in that email. Email number 2, because if they haven't opened or clicked, they get email number 2, which says, hey guys, check this out. You're definitely, if you want to make money with foreclosures, this is where you need to begin. My clients are making a lot of money with this. This is what you need to know. They still don't open it. Sunday, they get another email like taking that same candy and just kind of repositioning it. So it's like Jolly Ranchers, right? Lots of different flavors. Everybody likes Jolly Ranchers, but some prefer the watermelon over the apple. Those are smarter people because everyone knows the watermelon is the best Jolly Rancher. My point is that it's the same piece of candy, right? We're just sending it to them, rearranging where the words are to try to get them to read this candy for 3 days. Well, what happens if they're not interested in the candy? Then they're not your prospect. Why? Because that's exactly the business you're in, is helping people do that thing. Where we go wrong with this is we send emails with some candy that doesn't directly relate to what our service is. And so they dismiss that, and we're scared that if they dismiss that and unsubscribe, they're dismissing us, and we don't want them to do that. But if we're sending the help of exactly what we do and they dismiss that, guys, that's a good thing if they unsubscribe because they're not our customer. So hopefully you see that. So you just send this candy email over and over again for like 3 days, like, guys, check this out. Seriously, check this out. It's over here. Why? Isn't that going to bother people? Go back to the principles at the beginning of the webinar. They're getting a ton of stuff and they're scrolling and dismissing, right? We have to repeat, put it in front of them multiple times, offering the candy multiple times to get them to open it. The numbers prove this. I didn't have time to put all the numbers into the webinar today. The numbers prove this. Most people will not open your first email. Many people will open your second email. Most people will not click until the third email. Why did I say 1 to 2 emails a day? Because statistics show that the more frequently you do this, the likelier they are to take an action. All right. Yes, that action might be to unsubscribe, but if you have a cold list, oh well, right? If you're worried about spam count, well, don't spam people. Make sure these are people who have subscribed somewhere that you can email them. Long story short, guys, we've got to get, this is what we do. If we have people on our list who aren't interested in what we do, we don't want them on our list anymore. And there's no better way to find out than to send them the sweetest thing we can offer and have them tell us, no, I'm not interested. That's great. Let's get to the people that are. And most people just don't read it because they don't read their mail. But now that they've been hit 3 days in a row with a bunch of emails, they're likely to open and pay attention to it, right? They'll at least open. They might even click and start your video. Doesn't matter if they do or not. But if they finish your video or not, doesn't matter. All right. Hopefully I still have your attention. I know I'm going really fast, but I want to get through this. Anyone who clicks at any point in time. So let's say they get an email Friday, they get 2 emails Saturday, and they get an email Sunday. If during any of that time, whether it's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, at any point, they open the candy, not the email. They open the email and then they click on whatever that thing is to download your tool, to go to your website, to read an article, or to watch a video. If they click it, that triggers sequence number 2. This is all using email automation, which if I have time, I'm going to give you a glimpse of. So if and when they click the link to view the video, get the free help, or whatever the candy is they need to unwrap, they trigger email sequence number 2. When this occurs, email sequence number 1 ends. So if I sent it out on Friday and they click the link, they don't get an email on Saturday and Sunday telling them to click the link anymore. They've already done it. So you have to set this up in an email automation sequence. You have to use a program to do this. It's not hard to do. That's what happens, okay? So they stop getting the spam on that end. I won't call it spam. They stop getting the candy emails. They've already unwrapped the candy. Now, sequence number 2 triggers. Well, what the heck is sequence number 2? Sequence number 2 is the actual promo. It's the emails I told you not to send up front. This sequence involves a deadline or limited time discount. It has to do with your services, right? And they have less than 72 hours to take advantage of this discount. All right. We're going to send them several emails, just like the first sequence. Second sequence is the same, 1 to 2 a day. And the last day, we're going to send the most emails. Okay. Reminding them of the deadline. You're almost out. You're almost out of time. And we're asking them to take an action. All right. And that action would be either to buy something or to click and learn more about this offer. Okay. This is where people typically sign out. They go, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. And this is where the money is at. It's where the money's at. The money is on the back end. And this has taken me years to even be willing to try. I have been so scared. I'm like, that's just not my character. I just don't do that. The reason I wouldn't do it is because I didn't understand email sequence number 1. When I started sending candy and getting people to engage, and then I started hitting them with email sequence number 2, I would just send like one email after and be like, hey, maybe if you liked that, you'll take this. And no one bought. And I go, all they want is the free stuff. Till I started doing it at this repetition. Multiple emails with an offer and a deadline. It's usually in the last day with the multiple emails and one day when they buy. Why? Back to the rules, guys. They're ADHD culture, right? They just are dismissing it. They intend to, and they have to have that deadline. We're procrastinators. Now, you're saying to yourself, that could get kind of spammy and kind of like offensive. And I'm still really uncomfortable. Yep, me too. That's why I need to show you exactly how to say it. Because just saying buy now, buy now, buy now, and you start to sound like a car dealer, that is bad. So it is about how you say it. So hang on, don't run away yet. Let me show you exactly how to say it. Now, real quick, to get this started, there's a couple things you need. You need some sweetness. You need some sweet pancakes here, okay? You need something you can sell at a discount, either a widget, a service, something. I know some of you guys, like someone was in real estate going, well, what do I do? What do I give away at a discount? I want you to think about your service you offer and think about some sort of additional bonus or something you can offer. Something really outside the norm of just let me be your agent. It's going to take you some time to think about this, but you can do it. Every entrepreneur I've sat with can find some advantage that you can give away, some sort of bonus. So ideally, it's a discount plus a bonus. That works best, is to have, I'm going to save you money because that actually lowers your value. So we don't want to just lead with discounts if we can help it, because people go, oh, 25% off of $100. Well, then it must only be worth $75. What you want to do is 25% off $100 and then give away $300 worth of bonuses. That's what really works in the human psyche, right? That's candy plus wow. That's what I call it. Candy plus wow. So a discount plus bonuses is best. And if you're like, well, I just have a service, I'm like a real estate agent. Well, what can we do that would be at a discount? I know you can't advertise discounted commissions, but maybe you can do something like, if you sign up with me now, I will run a social media ad campaign worth $500 for you, plus throw in a home warranty for free as a part of simply working with me. Would be an example of that. And then we need to have some sort of sales page with a countdown timer. That's ideal. A landing page, something we can put the countdown timer on so that they know it's real. so they can keep coming back to it as they're curious and not just wait for your email to say it's about to expire. That's best, and actually very, very simple to do. Lead pages is like $25 a month. You can go into lead pages and build that. And you need the ability to automate your emails. So we can have these sequences that know when person clicks in sequence 1, they trigger sequence 2 and end sequence 1. Lots of things. Aweber will do this for you. Infusionsoft, which is very expensive and not even called Infusionsoft anymore. I use a thing called Kartra. If you're interested in that, I can get you a link for the trial for that. Drip does this. Honestly, you can do it with MailChimp by using tagging. One of the things we did this week in my private client group is I actually sat down in the various types of email programs and showed people some of the ways to do this. Unfortunately, I don't have time to show you all the technical stuff today. So if you don't really know how to do that, you can go and find that, but just know that here's what the keywords you have to search for is how to automate emails, how to make email sequences. And again, Aweber is an old school. It's kind of like Constant Contact. They all have their own ways of doing it. And most of them can do it. I personally use Kartra with a K, Kartra. But that's $99 a month, and it's not just an email program. All right, let's keep trucking. I can talk more about tools if I have any bonus time here, and I'm happy to stay late for people with questions, okay? So here's what sequence number 1 looks like. I'm actually going to pretty much write it for you. Here's the framework. You have a subject line. Subject line is how to get the thing you want. So remember, we're not telling them like, don't get ambiguous here, guys. Don't be like, are you looking to have more money? And also don't stop with all that nonsense, right? How to turn foreclosures into cash. Just the thing they want, straight and simple. And you can be like, I wish I would have known this. And you can say something that kind of like sparks curiosity and be a little clever there, but don't be like really ambiguous. We could have a whole video on email subject lines, but just be straightforward. That's the important thing. And have it tell what the candy is. Instead of what we try to do is we try to build up the candy in the subject line and build up the candy in the email body. It doesn't work. Nobody reads it. Remember, no one opens their mail. Just say candy inside. Here's the candy. That's all you got to do. These should be short. Then inside, there's the thing. It's free. A video, an article, or a download. Sticky sweet. It just literally says like, here's the thing you wanted. How to get the thing you want. It's the subject line. Here's the thing you wanted. But they have to be able to click to get it, meaning they have to click to push play on the video, and you have to have a way to track that in your email program. So we're not just sending this through Gmail. You could use Yesware or an email tracking program in your browser to do this, to track it. But we want them to click to go somewhere just so we know they took the action. Okay. Most email programs will tell you if they click a link and then tag those customers. Even MailChimp will do that. So here's an example. How to write emails that make you money now could be the subject line. Works, doesn't it? Here you are. That's what you wanted. And just ask yourself, how do I figure out what I should be sending? Just ask yourself this question. What do they want? The people that I would work with, what do they want more than anything? And I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to give it to them without me. I'm going to give them a video, a download, something that they can just have it. That's sequence number 1. The whole sequence is just giving them that candy. We don't got to give them everything we do. We're giving them a piece of candy. But it's not just to whet their appetite. It is to actually help them. They have to walk away actually helped. You're not selling your services here, guys. You're actually giving your service away. A little bit of it, enough to help, to solve the thing in the subject line. That's it. And the whole email structure, whether it's 3 emails or 6, is all trying to get them to click that video because of what it does. So email number 1 would be like this. Email number 2 in the first sequence might be like the subject line just kind of rewritten. So instead of what I used, how to write emails that make you money now, email automation really can make money in 3 days might be the second one. Or my clients made $1,500 last weekend using this email sequence. The same, I'm just prompting them to open the candy. It's the same piece of candy. And I just send them that over and over and over again over this 3-day sequence in sequence number 1. All right. Once they go, fine, I'll take it. And they open it up. Sequence number 2 begins. Sequence number 1 ends. it's almost the same. Sequence number 2 is almost the same as sequence number 1, which is some minor tweaks. And almost every email is the same with some minor tweaks. Each email gets shorter and accentuates the deadline more. Remember, now I'm actually promoting something to them. So the first email, right? Something catchy, like now that you're looking for foreclosures, this is what you need to do today, right? Read this now. Something catchy. The first sentence in that email actually describes the thing you're giving away, right? Now, this is candy too, but it's more candy. So I don't want to confuse you with all the candy language. My point is that the first email sequence was something actually helpful. And maybe an offer at the end of the video, whatever, just saying, if you want more, call me. But then it's an actual, just helpful. And that's it. There's really no selling done at all in that email sequence. When they've clicked the email and they got the candy, email sequence number 2 is a new email. And it comes to them within a few hours after clicking the first email sequence. And it looks a lot like the one before it. It's offering more candy. And what's that candy? What you do, your service, right? So for example, in my world, you open the email saying, hey, you want to learn how to send emails and make money? You're here getting the candy now. So then you would get an email sequence tomorrow saying, join my private client group and learn how to do this and a whole lot more. Here's a discount. It ends in 72 hours. Oh, and if you take advantage of this now, you're going to get a whole lot of bonuses. You might get some email like that tomorrow. Think you might? That's how it works. Why would I think you would want that? Because you clicked this and you were interested in doing this. I'm helping you do this. And maybe you go, Tom, not now. I'm going to go implement this on my own and see if I can do it. Doesn't matter. I've helped you. That's all I cared to do. But over the next 72 hours, I'm going to offer to help you a whole lot more. And if you act now, you get it cheaper. And if you act now, you get even more than the original help I would have done. That is the idea behind the second email sequence. Catchy to read now type of subject line. Today's the day. Discounts inside. They open it up. Why? Because they've already opened up my emails in the past and they liked what I had to say. And I go, hey, I know you want to learn how to email and make a lot of money. My private client group has helped a whole lot of people to do that. If you join my private client group right now, I'll give it to you for this amount of money less if you act in the next 72 hours, and you'll get a bonus of get all my trainings for free. Something like that. You've seen these emails before. Nice and short and sweet. On the bonus, we want to usually give about 3 bullet points as to why the bonus is good. The first sentence, what I'm actually giving away at a discount, is just more help. It's the exact same help as the candy I gave away in the prior thing. It's just now paid and through my help. It's just more of that same type of candy, but with a working relationship with me. The bonus I quickly describe with 3 bullets. Then I have a get it now call to action. Like, act now, this is over in like 72 hours, right? You can put this in any order you want, but that is pretty much how it flows. You want an example of this? You're going to be getting them from me. All right. So that's just copy and paste. I feel like I'm saying too much here. I don't want to confuse you. It really is quite simple. Don't actually overthink it. Don't actually overthink it. This is all you need to do. So with the foreclosure example from before, you were interested in turning foreclosures into cash. You watched my video that showed you how to do it. Boom, you trigger this sequence. I help a lot of clients turn foreclosures into cash. I'm willing to offer you a foreclosure at a discounted rate from my current vault of existing opportunities. If we schedule a meeting, this is only good for 72 hours. If you act now, I will also offer you my online training on how to do this, or a free credit report, or I don't know. I'm not in the foreclosure business, and there's a reason why. I can't think of anything clever for it. But that's an example of what you would do. And you need to sit and meditate on what this looks like. And that is literally how the candy cash machine works. I know I went through that fast, guys, but I wanted to make sure I ended on time, which I have successfully done. If you're like, wow, that's a lot. It's only a lot because I talked at you for an hour. It's actually really, really simple. And all the fears, anxieties, and concerns you're feeling right now will immediately dissipate when you get this put together and you click send, and 3 or 4 days from now, depending on when they trigger sequence number 2, your appointment book starts filling up, your sales start happening. I'm going to tell you right now, most people buy right before the deadline, and most people will click one of your last emails in sequence number 1. That's why the more emails, the better. And those who unsubscribe and those who mark you as spam either were unengaged, not interested, shouldn't be your customer, or were never going to take action from email anyway, and it should have never ended up on your list. All right. Or maybe shame on us. If we would have emailed them back when they first got on our list, we probably would have had them then. So I like to use this sequence when people first get on my list. Now, some of you just might not be able to stomach doing it. And for those of you like that, I can absolutely sympathize, because that was me for years. Here's what I've learned. If you make that sequence number 1 candy really, really, really sweet, they will not care about sequence number 2. And if you make sequence number 2 all about helping them in the same way sequence 1 did, they're not going to be offended and call you a used car salesman. Okay? That's the art. That's the thing I need you to think about before you start writing emails and firing away. Once you've got that down, putting it together in a really simple email is actually not that hard. It's actually at that point just the repetition that actually makes it work. So if you get a really sweet candy email number 1 and you get a nice little offer in sequence number 2 and you just send 2 emails because you don't want to bother people, it's not going to work. If you have that down, it actually works by more emails and deadlines. All right. Hopefully you stayed alive till the last 30 seconds there, because that was very, very key. Thank you guys for hanging on Freebie Friday. Yeah, we do a lot of this. We do a lot of this in the private client group. You should head on over to strongholdtraining.com/PCG, or just go to strongholdtraining.com and click on the private client group or entrepreneur tab, and you can learn about this. You will also get an email from me if you registered with a recording of this, as well as discounts and bonuses. So thanks so much, guys, for playing along. Get out there and sell something. Don't be afraid to email. Don't be afraid. The money is in the back end with email, I promise. Thanks, guys.